The mansion was silent. Too silent. YN stood near the window, her fingers twisting the edge of her soft nightdress. The glass reflected her trembling figure, small, innocent, lost. She was married, but not to an ordinary man. She was married to Jungkook. The Mafia everyone feared. The man whose name alone could stop breaths. The man whose hands were stained with blood. Every night since the wedding, YN slept with fear curled inside her chest. Not because he hurt her, but because she thought he would. The door opened softly. YN flinched instantly. Her heart slammed against her ribs as she turned. Jungkook stood there, tall, broad, dressed in black, his presence heavy, commanding. A single look from him could silence a room. YN lowered her eyes immediately. She always did. Jungkook noticed. He noticed everything. Her fear, her shaking fingers, the way she held her breath whenever he came near. It hurt him more than bullets ever had. From the very first day, Jungkook made rules. But not the cruel kind. You will not cook. You will not clean. You will not lift anything heavy. If you feel tired, you rest. YN had looked at him with wide, confused eyes. She expected orders, not protection. YN soft, hesitant. But, I like doing housework. Jungkook's jaw tightened. Jungkook firm. I don't want you sick. That was it. No explanation. No discussion. YN nodded quietly, but her heart felt strange. She loved cooking. It reminded her of warmth. Of family. Of safety. Things she never felt here. Days passed. YN stayed mostly in her room. Walking softly. Speaking softly, like she was afraid the house itself would break her. Jungkook watched her from afar. Listened to her soft movements. Make sure she ate. Each day, his heart betrayed him a little more. He loved the way she thanked the staff politely. The way she smiled shyly at flowers. The way she flinched at loud sounds. She was nothing like his world. One day, Jungkook left for a mission. Blood, gunfire, shouts. His normal life. Back at the mansion, YN stood alone in the kitchen. The smell of tomatoes filled the air. She knew the rule, but her heart wanted comfort. Just once, she whispered. She picked up the knife carefully, her movements slow and unsure. The knife slipped. A sharp pain tore through her finger. Blood spilled instantly. YN gasped. The pain shocked her more than she expected. YN. Ah. She dropped the knife. Her breath came fast, panicked. The blood wouldn't stop. Fear rushed in. YN crying. Please, stop. Her sob turned into a scream. Jungkook had just entered the mansion. Still wearing his coat. Still smelling like smoke and danger. Then he heard it. Her scream. Everything stopped. His heart dropped to his stomach. He ran. Not walked. Ran straight to the kitchen. The sight shattered him. YN stood there, crying uncontrollably, blood dripping from her finger. Her face was pale. Her body shaking. Jungkook panicked. YN. She looked at him, terrified. YN. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. He crossed the distance in seconds. Tore cotton from the drawer with shaking hands. Wrapped her finger tightly. Jungkook, voice breaking. Why were you cooking? But the anger died instantly when she cried harder. He lifted her into his arms. She gasped. YN. Jungkook. Jungkook. We're going to the hospital. He placed her in the car. Started the engine. In's breathing became wild. YN crying. No hospital. Jungkook frowned. Jungkook. You're bleeding. She shook her head violently. Hold his arm. YN. I'm scared. Please, no injections. Her tears soaked his sleeve. His grip tightened on the steering wheel. Fear turned into anger. Not at her. At the situation. Jungkook, harsh. You're going. YN froze. Her eyes widened. This was the Jungkook she feared. He drove faster. YN cried silently, hugging herself. The hospital lights were too bright. The smells too strong. YN clung to Jungkook's coat. YN, sobbing. Please take me home. Jungkook hold her and take her towards doctor room and sat her in chair. The doctor approached. Doctor, show me the wound. YN hid her hand behind Jungkook. Crying harder. Jungkook's chest tightened painfully. He bent down, pulled her into a tight hug. Jungkook, soft, trembling. It's okay. I'm here. No one will hurt you. She cried into his chest. Slowly, carefully, he guided her hand out. The doctor treated her wound. YN screamed. Jungkook held her tightly. Then, the nurse came with the injection. YN lost control. She cried hysterically, kicked her legs, clutched Jungkook desperately. Jungkook was shocked. He had never seen fear like this. YN, crying I don't want to take injection PLZ, still crying. Jungkook feel pain seeing her crying this much, then he told doctor to skip the injection. Jungkook, skip it. Doctor, it's important. Jungkook sighed, sat down, pulled YN onto his lap, held her firmly. Jungkook whispering, I won't leave. Look at me. She didn't listen. Still crying. YN. No, throwing her arms to his chest. Then Jungkook forcefully turned her in his lap and hold her. She is crying mess. Doctor pulled her pee at NTS down and inject her. The injection went in. YN screamed. YN. Crying so much. Then doctor pulled the needle out and bandaged it. Jungkook hugged her tightly afterward. She cried with hiccups. Clung to him like a baby. In's cries slowly turned into broken hiccups. Her small body was pressed tightly against Jungkook's chest, her fingers clutching his coat like she would fall apart if she let go. Her face was red, eyes swollen, lips trembling. She looked so small, so fragile, so painfully innocent. Jungkook wrapped one arm firmly around her back, the other gently stroking her hair. Not the mafia boss. Not the killer. Just a man trying to calm his wife. Jungkook, soft, low. It's done. Shish, it's over. YN shook her head weakly, burying her face deeper into his chest. YN between hiccups. It hurts. His heart clenched. He pressed his lips lightly to her hair without realizing it. The doctor cleared his throat awkwardly. Doctor, she'll be fine now. Just rest. Jungkook nodded, his jaw tight. He lifted YN carefully into his arms. She didn't resist, didn't even open her eyes. She simply clung to him, completely trusting him now. That realization shook him. Outside the hospital, cold air brushed against In's tear-stained cheeks. She whimpered softly. Jungkook immediately adjusted her closer to his chest. Jungkook, I'm here. He reached the car and opened the door. Gently, so gently, it surprised even him. He tried to place her in the seat. But the moment he loosened his hold, YN panicked. Her arms wrapped around his neck tightly. Her nails dug into his coat. YN crying again. No, don't leave. Jungkook froze. His breath hitched. Jungkook, YN, I'm just putting you down. She shook her head desperately. YN, please, stay. Her voice was small, broken, like a child afraid of being abandoned. Something inside Jungkook cracked completely. Without another word, he closed the car door. Then sat in the driver's seat. With YN still in his lap. The engine started. Jungkook drove with one hand. The other stayed wrapped securely around her waist. YN rested her head against his chest, her breathing uneven. Every now and then, her body would shudder with leftover sobs. Jungkook whispered to her softly, over and over. Jungkook, you're okay. I won't go anywhere. You're safe with me. She slowly relaxed. Her grip loosened, but she didn't let go completely. She trusted him now, and that terrified him, because he knew, if anything ever happened to her, he would destroy the world. Back at the mansion, the guards immediately stepped aside. Everyone noticed. The Mafia King walked in carrying his wife like she was made of glass. His face was unreadable, but his eyes, they were soft, concerned, protective. He took her straight to the bedroom, laid her gently on the bed. She whimpered when he pulled away even a little. YN, sleepy, scared. Jungkook. He sat beside her instantly. Jungkook, I'm here. He carefully checked her finger. Bandaged, clean, but seeing even a small wound on her broke him. Jungkook, low. I told you not to cook. She sniffled. YN, weak. I just wanted to. Her voice cracked again. He sighed. All the anger melted. Jungkook, I know. While creasing her cheeks. That night, YN couldn't sleep. She tossed slightly, her brows furrowed. Jungkook stayed awake, watching her, guarding her. She suddenly reached out in her sleep, grabbing his shirt. He stiffened, then relaxed, let her pull him closer. She curled against him unconsciously. Like she belonged there, like she felt safe there. His heart beat wildly. Jungkook thoughts. How did you become my weakness so easily? He placed a hand on her back. Held her, careful not to wake her. Morning sunlight filled the room softly. YN opened her eyes slowly. For a moment, she panicked. Then she realized, she was wrapped in Jungkook's arms. Her cheek rested against his chest. She could hear his heartbeat. Strong, steady, protective. She didn't move, didn't want to. Jungkook woke up moments later. Their eyes met. Silence. No fear this time, just shyness. YN, soft. Did I sleep on you? He nodded. Jungkook. All night. She blushed, but didn't pull away. Instead, she hugged him again, softly, carefully, like she was afraid he might disappear. Jungkook cupped her face gently. She didn't flinch. That alone meant everything. Jungkook, serious, calm. No more kitchen. No more knives. She nodded, then whispered, YN, will you stay with me when I'm scared? His answer was instant. Jungkook, always. Not as a mafia boss. Not as her husband by force. But as a man deeply, hopelessly in love. Something changed after the hospital night. It wasn't loud. It wasn't sudden. It was quiet. YN no longer flinched when Jungkook entered the room. She didn't lower her gaze immediately. She didn't step back. Instead, she watched him, curiously, carefully, like she was trying to understand the man behind the fear. Jungkook noticed. God, he noticed everything. The way her eyes followed him. The way she waited for him at night. The way she relaxed only when he was near. And every time their eyes met, his heart forgot how to beat. One evening, Jungkook came home late. Blood on his knuckles. Bruises under his collar. YN was sitting on the bed. Waiting. The moment she saw him, she stood up quickly. YN, worried. You're hurt. He froze. No one ever said that to him. Not like this. Not with fear for him. Jungkook. It's nothing. She walked toward him slowly. Still hesitant. But she didn't stop. She reached for the first aid box. Sat him down. Her hands trembled as she cleaned his wounds. Jungkook watched her face closely. Her brows furrowed. Her lips pressed together anxiously. She was scared, but she didn't leave. A drop of blood slid down his skin. YN gasped softly. YN, does it hurt? He swallowed. Jungkook, low. I felt worse. She shook her head gently. YN, you shouldn't. He laughed quietly, bitter. Jungkook, this is my life. She paused. Then, very softly, YN, you're more than this. His breath stopped. No one had ever said that. Ever. He reached out without thinking. His fingers brushed her wrist. She stiffened for a second. Then didn't pull away. Instead, she looked at him, right into his eyes. Not afraid. Not running. Just there. The room became quiet. Too quiet. Their faces were close now. He could feel her breath. Warm. Uneven. She could feel his heartbeat. Fast. Uncontrolled. Jungkook, hoarse. YN. She swallowed. YN, whisper. Yes. He hesitated. For the first time in his life. The man who never hesitated before pulling a trigger. Was afraid of scaring her. Jungkook. If I do this, I won't stop. Her eyes widened slightly, but she didn't move back. Instead, she slowly placed her hand on his chest. Right over his heart. YN. Then, don't scare me. That was her permission. Not spoken loudly, but clearly. Jungkook lifted his hand to her face. This time, she leaned into his touch. He brushed his thumb under her eye gently. As if afraid she might disappear. He leaned in slowly, giving her time. Time to pull away. She didn't. Their lips touched. Softly. Barely. A kiss filled with hesitation. With fear. With longing. YN gasped quietly. Her fingers curled into his shirt. Jungkook deepened the key dollar just a little. Still gentle. Still careful. Like she was fragile glass. Her lips trembled, but she key dollar ed him back. Slow. Innocent. Real. When they finally pulled apart. Their foreheads rested together. Both breathing hard.